What does Holland America do differently and the same to other premium cruise lines? I'm Gary Bembridge. This is another of my cruising tips for travelers. Holland America is one of the longest established cruise companies in the world. It's been going for well over 140 years. It's part of the Carnival group now, and it operates 14 ships with many more on order. And it operates in the premium sector, so it competes with lines like Celebrity Cruises, Princess Cruises, and probably also brands like P&O Cruises out of the UK. So I want to look at 4 things that I think Holland America does differently, better, and 4 things that they do broadly the same. So let's start by taking a look at what they do differently. The first thing I think that Holland America really does differently is they definitely have a much more classic maritime look and feel to their design. Celebrity is moving more and more modern, more contemporary. Princess, I guess, is probably sort of more resort, hotel-like in terms of design. But Holland America, because of its long established heritage in the whole world of cruising and the maritime, I feel that they do have a much more traditionally maritime linked design. And I really think that sets them aside from other cruise lines in their category. The second thing that they do differently, which I think is a fantastic innovation, is the music walk. Now, depending on which ship you're on, they have all or some of these in place. But the entire music walk, which is on their newer ships, consists of the following. You have Lincoln Center Stage. This is a partnership with the famous New York Center, so it's classical music, classical concerts. Then you have one of the really popular of the music walk venues, and this is B.B. King's Blues Club. So linked to the famous musician, it plays kind of jazzy, funky music, and it's a really, really popular place. And they have an 8-piece band, really fantastic musicians, great venue. Another really popular part of the music walk is Billboard on Board. This is 2 pianists sitting opposite each other, and they have different themed sessions. It might be 90s, it might be requests, it might be Beatles, it might be Brit Invasion, whatever it is. And they play really high energy sets, really popular. You'll find whatever set they're playing, it's really busy and crowded, really good fun. One of the newer venues on some of the newer ships is the Rolling Stone Rock Rooms. This is a partnership with the magazine, and as the name suggests, this is much more rock music based. And then you have the main theatre, which is now called the World Stage, and here you have the traditional production shows, song and dance shows, you have guest artists, of course, and in some of the newer ships, it's very high tech, almost in the round type theatre. But definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, the music walk is one of the things that they do differently. Real big focus on music, which I think is fantastic, and the venues are really popular. The third thing that I think they do differently, and in many areas uniquely, is their real focus on excursions. What they've done on their ships is the old Crow's Nest area has been converted into Explorations Central, or EXC. This is where they really focus on destinations. So you have your shore excursions up here, but where you have your EXC guides, of course, that can help you. And of course, they have all their tours as well. But what they do also have up here is these interactive tables where you can go and you can interact with your itinerary. You can look at facts and figures, look at the excursions, look at maps of the place. They have an interactive wall as well here. They have some library area where you can get books, and then also up here you also have a sort of a cafe area as well, where you can get during the day coffees, teas, and also in the evenings, of course, you can get drinks. Also linked to the whole EXC experience, there's a couple of other things which they've done. So on your television channel in your stateroom, you have the EXC channel where you can learn and watch documentaries about where you're going, and you can also watch various videos about the different tours, etc. that they have. They've also created a couple of other really interesting things. So they now have what's known as the EXC Port to Table. So these are cooking demonstrations which are linked to different destinations where you can learn how to cook different dishes from around the world. They also started to introduce some EXC photograph classes to help you when you go out on tour to take even better pictures. So the real focus on excursions is a big part of what I think makes it different. They've converted this whole area into a special excursion destination focused area, and they've created all these various sort of products around the whole excursions process. I do think that is different to the other lines. The fourth thing that I think they do differently is they have a range of partnerships which are very different to the other competitors in the premium area. One of those is with Afar, which is a travel magazine, and Afar have created lots of destination guides, the port guides, and various different port related information around the places that you're going. So all the stuff you'll watch on the EXC channel, for example, on the television, is developed in partnership with AFAR. They also have a partnership with Oprah Winfrey. And of course, she is actually a godmother to one of the ships, and they have a whole wellness program and a book club program linked to O by Oprah Winfrey. They have a partnership with Microsoft where they run digital workshops, and there's a lot of digital workshops taking place on board, and these are really popular. It's a really nice high-tech venue with lots and lots of different classes. Another great partnership they have, which is also very popular, is with the BBC Planet Earth. So they have various documentaries they run, but one of the really popular innovations they've created are concerts around some of the big BBC Earth programs, where they'll show footage, sometimes exclusive footage, and the music that goes with it. So live music concerts using the BBC Earth programming. So what does Holland America do broadly the same as the other premium lines? Well, first of all, when we take a look at the fares, they are pretty similar. So both in terms of the kind of the level of the fares, but also importantly, what is included and what's excluded in the fares. So if you take a look at most of the premium lines and you take a look at Holland America, accommodations included, dining's included, or most of the entertainment's included, access to pretty much all of the facilities like the fitness center, pools, all those kind of things are included. The key exception are the cabanas, which are the premium little cabanas that you can rent out on sea days or even on port days, which is a little private area away from the main swimming pools. Non-specialty teas, coffees, water, iced tea is available in all of the restaurants and the buffet areas. And also the Club House program. So they have a whole kids clubhouse area, which is also included within the fare. So what does the fare exclude? Well, it excludes gratuities, which are auto added onto your bill on board, although you can also find ways of prepaying those before you go on board. Excursions are not included. Drinks are not included. They do offer drinks packages. Specialty dining is not included. So within your fare, you're going to get the main dining room, you're going to get the Lido buffet, you're going to get some of the other more informal dining venues. Specialty dining is not included. Wi-Fi is not included. That's an extra charge. And of course, if you do things like shopping or use the medical center, that's very consistent with the other premium cruise lines. The second thing they do the same is they offer a pretty traditional cruising experience. So if you look at the premium lines, first of all, you'll find there's pretty classic cruise ships. You're not going to find water slides and theme parks and ice skating rinks and all that kind of stuff. It's very much focused on a more traditional cruising experience with a real focus on dining and bars and some of the enrichment side, and of course fitness and sports. So you'll find it's a pretty traditional ship that you're going to be experiencing, which is consistent across the other lines. Secondly, you'll find that the entertainment offered is very similar. So the daily program in terms of the activities is fairly similar. So you have those production shows, you can have quizzes, you can have bingo, you will have a casino. So all the entertainment and stuff is pretty traditional and pretty similar to the other lines. In terms of dress code, it's also very similar as well. So you have your gala nights where you're encouraged to dress up, but it's not as formal as some of the lines like Cunard, for example, where you have to wear tuxedos. You can if you want to. You'll find even on gala nights, a lot of people just wear long sleeve shirts and smart slacks. If you go to the specialty dining, you're encouraged to dress up more smartly. But the dress code is pretty relaxed. So on casual nights, although you can't wear things like shorts, you can wear smart jeans into the dining room. So pretty similar to the other lines these days. You'll also find the range of itineraries is very similar. They have, as I mentioned, 14 ships and growing. They pretty much cruise all around the world, but the itineraries are pretty similar. All the destinations that you can go to on the other lines, you can also go to on Holland America. And then, of course, on the ships, you'll find that the range of cabins is very similar. So you can range from inside cabins right through to suites. You have ocean view balconies. So a wide range of cabins as you do on the other lines. Holland America, I would say, appeals largely to the same audience as the other premium cruise lines. So you'll find the bulk of passengers are American, although you'll find quite a diverse range. You'll find lots of Brits on board, Australians on board, and increasingly more and more nationalities as cruising does become more kind of diverse. But it's very much American focused. You'll find that the profile is a little bit on the older side. You'll find 50s, 60s, 70s and above. Normally, of course, during the more peak holiday time, you are like to find more families, more multi-generational, but it does tend to be slightly older. It has a reputation for having a slightly older profile, probably 50s, 60s at its kind of core. It does also tend to have lots of couples on board, so it's not necessarily a big family cruise line, although it does have the Club Howl facilities. You'll find lots of couples on board. In terms of solos, they're starting to cater more to solos on some of their newer ships. They're starting to have solo cabins, but you won't find a lot of solo facilities, although solo travelers do like Holland America, and they do have programs once you're on board, but you do end up having to pay often the premium for traveling solo. And again, they have a good range of accessibility cabins, which the other cruise lines in this category do as well. The other thing they do relatively similar is the range of dining options, although of course they are slightly different across all of those lines. So let me talk a little bit about dining, because I think the quality of the food is consistent with those premium lines, which are all of a high standard, all pretty diverse, and lots of choice, and they do cater for all different sort of types of dietary needs, whether it's gluten, vegetarian, or whatever. So what do they actually offer? So they have the main dining room, which all of the others do at this point of time, and they offer you early seating, late seating, or you can go for anytime dining. They have a buffet option, which of course is always very popular. They have 24-hour room service, which is included within the fare, and they have a couple of other more informal dining options. So for example, you'll have dive-in, which is around the pool, which is the more burger place. Also in some of the restaurants around the pool area, you'll also have a pizza option, which is called slice pizza. When it comes to specialty dining, again, it does differ slightly by ship, but they have a couple of really core offerings that they have. So Pinnacle Grill, which is sort of their flagship, which is their steakhouse option that is on pretty much all of the ships. You'll also find that they have Rudy Salamea, which takes place in the Pinnacle. It's a pop-up, it's their big seafood night. They have on some of the ships Tamarind, which I really love, which is like an Asian fusion option. They have Canaletto, which is an Italian, which actually takes over part of the buffet restaurant area. That's also really popular. They also offer a great afternoon tea, which normally takes place in the main dining room, and that's also included within your fare. So dining options are very similar, so you have you included, but each of the cruise lines do have slightly different specialty restaurants, and those are the ones that you have on Holland America. Holland America, a very well-established, well-loved line. People are very passionate about Holland America. I've had great trips on Holland America, and those are the four things that I see as being very different, and those are the four things I see as being very similar. I have loads more videos about Holland America and cruising in general, so why don't you watch another one of those right now.